a fair number of my videos on this channel are really addressed towards people super close to retirement. But what if you're in your 30s or 40s and you're not super close to retirement? You know, there comes a time as you're saving for retirement that you tip the scales and now it's okay, financially I'm ready. But there's another really important milestone that I want to talk about today, that if you're in your 30s or 40s, hopefully you're going to tip pretty soon. And that is what I call FU money. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, ask your spouse or one of your kids what FU money is. But, you know, that's an important milestone as well for people as they're starting to build up their nest egg. And why is FU money important? Now, you know, a lot of people think about, well, you know, I'm going to tell my boss off, or I'm going to give my boss the finger and tell him where, you know, he can put this job. But I don't think most of us are that way, right? Really, FU money gives us flexibility, gives us the chance to make sure that we're doing meaningful work with our life. I love a quote by Reid Hoffman where he says, one of the best prizes that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. And you know, the nice thing about having FU money, about having an emergency fund set up, and beyond that, where, you know, you could afford to go a couple years, 5 years without working, right? You could afford to downshift into a different type of job that doesn't pay as much. The nice thing about doing that is I think you'll find it pays off in spades. Oftentimes you don't need to leave the job that you're currently at, but you have the confidence and the safety net in order to go to your boss and say, you know, there's some things I want to change. I want to have better work-life balance. You know, I like to work hard when I'm working hard, but I also need to recharge my batteries. And to do that, you know, here's a couple things I need. Can we figure out a way to make that work? I think that conversation goes better for people that have the resources to say, you know, this is important to me and I'd love to stay, but if I can't stay, that's okay too, right? I have the resources to find another job that allows me to have whatever it is that's important to you, or maybe even downshift and take a job that pays less money. So I mentioned one Reid Hoffman quote. He's got another quote where he says, you know, it's I'm not quoting yet, where he's talking about, you know, it's time to leave a job, maybe it's time to switch. And this is what he says is one warning sign for him. If you find yourself drinking a lot of coffee just to stay interested in your job, you better start looking for the exit, right? So maybe you've been at your job for a number of years and you've done great work and you like the team, but you're ready for the next challenge. Well, boy, it's a lot easier to do that if you have FU money. And again, it doesn't mean that you stick up your middle finger and say, I'm going to show everyone. It's just, it's a resource. In addition to providing a financial safety net, it also gives you the freedom, which ultimately is what money is. Money is a tool to give you freedom. So, you know, how much is FU money? How much do you have to have in order to be able to use that? And it's, you know, it really depends on each individual. You know, I'd say certainly if you have 25 times your your annual living expenses, you know, that's a really nice FU account. In fact, for many people, that's enough to retire on. But there's probably a number that's, you know, 10 times your annual expenses up to maybe 10 times to 25 times. Somewhere in there probably falls FU money. And of course, you should have an emergency fund as soon as you can, frankly, once you're out of school and starting to work, you know, of at least 6 months of living expenses. So that's kind of FU junior. That's really in case an emergency happens, you get fired, you lose your job, you have an unexpectedly large car expense, you get in a car accident, you need to buy a new car, something, or a used car, which is what I do. Something that falls into that category. But, you know, getting back to the job, let's say you have a job that you love, but, you know, we all have things that we want to tweak. If you're getting close to retirement, you know, maybe you go to your boss and say, you know, what does my retirement package look like? Now, if you work for a large company, you know what it looks like. But if you work for a smaller company, you know, oftentimes things are negotiable. And if you're in a position where you could retire if you wanted to, I think you're more likely to end up with a package that works better for you and for your company, because you're gonna be more candid and say, you know, these are the types of things I need in order to make it work for me. And if you've been at your firm for a while and you're good at what you do, your company wants you to stick around. It's in their best benefit for you to stick around longer as well. Also, you can change jobs on your terms. You know, oftentimes, if you quit your job and you're thinking about going somewhere else, you know, the company's going to offer you a severance package, or hopefully if they lay you off, they're going to offer you a severance package. But you know, the severance packages don't come free. You have to agree to some things that maybe you don't want to agree to. But if you need that 3 months, 6 months severance package, you don't have a lot of choice. You're probably going to have to sign because you need the money. But if you have FU money, you can say, you know, actually I don't want to sign this. We have an agreement in place already. When I hired on, you asked me to sign all this paperwork as an employee. So, you know, we have the paperwork already that talks about what our terms of employment and employee and employer are. So you don't need to sign anything new. Now, if you want the severance package, you do. So the FU money kind of opens the door for you to say, is this something that I feel good about, the severance package, and signing the required paperwork? Or is this something, you know, I'd prefer not to sign? And if you don't need the money, it's a lot easier to say, you know, I'm uncomfortable signing this. So that's another thing that that FU money can give you. So, you know, this is, I tell people that, you know, my channel is really about financial advice, and people come for financial education. This is not financial advice. I don't know your specific situation, so of course I can't give you financial advice, but I can give you some education and some things for you to think about, and then you can do some research on your own. You can hire a fee-only financial advisor if you want, or an accountant, and look into things in more detail. So, you know, I think people come here for the financial advice, but then there's also the life philosophy, and I think we self-select, and I think we're building a community here that shares some of my values. You know, I think life is a journey. I think life is designed to be enjoyed and to have adventures, and the financial resources are a tool that allow you to do this. So, and I think FU money is an important arrow in your quiver of tools for financial advising. And, you know, generally my philosophy is, let's enjoy life. Let's make good decisions. Let's be wise. But then let's live life to the fullest. Let's have some adventures. And, you know, I mentioned earlier about the life-work balance. You know, if you have FU money and you're getting close to retirement, you're not quite ready to retire yet. But you know, I got to start developing some passions outside of work. You know, it's healthier for you and it's healthier for your company if you do start developing some of those passions. And, you know, I think one of the best ways to do that is to take 1 or 2 mini retirements a year. And what I mean by that is, you know, a month or 2 off, hopefully paid, maybe not paid, but kind of like a sabbatical, maybe in your last 5 years that you're planning on working. Whether you're 50 years old or 60 years old, you know, the last 5 years, once a year, twice a year, you say, you know, I want to take a month off. I want to decompress. I think I'd enjoy traveling. I want to go to Southeast Asia. I want to go see Thailand and Vietnam and Cambodia and Hong Kong and Laos. And I want to see if I enjoy doing that. Or maybe, you know, I want to help out at the local high school. I'm a sports fan, and I've always thought it would be fun to help out with the football team. I enjoyed playing football when I was younger, and I want to see if that's something I might want to spend my retirement doing. Or whatever it might be, right? Spending time with your aging parents or your adult kids that might have grandkids, and maybe you're taking care of the grandkids full time for a month just to see what that's like. Is that something you think you might be able to do in retirement? These are all life philosophy, right? They kind of fall outside of the scale of financial advice, but hopefully people watching my channel, hopefully you are enjoying these philosophical discussions as well. So you come for the financial education, and you stay for the life adventure conversations that we have here. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, do me a favor, hit the like button. It really does help other people find my channel and find this crazy financial educator that takes people for walks and gets to share these beautiful locations that I'm fortunate enough to visit from time to time. So give me a like, leave me a comment. I do try to read all the comments every day. I try to reply to at least a couple dozen, so if I haven't replied to yours yet, hopefully I will sometime soon. And as the young people say, thumbs for likes and subs for love. And until next time, I'm Azul, encouraging you to take full advantage of the youth of your senior years. Remember, you're only young once. Use your time wisely.